Hey you guys, we are back on the Coffee Cream channel for the also awaited series, Dear High School Girls. Sorry I've been down for a long time, my phone was broken. But, you know, we back up in this thing. So, yeah, I've gotten a lot of questions from high school girls. It's a lot of y'all. Some of these questions are a little tough, but we gonna crack up through them. So, let's see. Let's start. Are you guys ready? I'm excited. Okay, so the first question is, Dear Coffee Cream Girl, what do you do in college when your best friend is friends with your enemy? Also, I live in the Philadelphia area and I'm having trouble finding the perfect college. I've been checking out this one in Atlanta, but my mom isn't thrilled as I am because it's far. I don't want to be in the Philadelphia area anymore. I want to see the world without my mom on my shoulders controlling me. What should I do? First part is, as far as your best friend being friends with your enemy, so there's two things that you need to evaluate. What type of friend do you have? And then when were the relationships established? So for instance, who was friends first? Your friends and your supposed enemy. Enemy is a strong word, by the way. That's really strong. But so who was friends first? Because if your friends was friends with your so-called enemy before you ever came into their life, then you don't really have any room to tell them who they can't be friends with and who's not allowed to support them in their personal life. The second thing is if you know your friend wouldn't talk about you behind your back, wouldn't allow a conversation that was disrespectful to you to take place while it was in their presence, then you don't have anything to worry about. If you think that your friend is talking to your enemy about you behind your back, then you don't really have a friend. You just have two enemies, one who you're more cordial with than the other. So I would take that into consideration and then just sit down and have an adult, mature conversation about it and then go from there. But don't make any rash decisions just based off of the fact that you don't like someone and someone who you're friends with is friends with someone who you don't like. And then to the second part, as far as living in Philadelphia but wanting or thinking about going to school in Atlanta, one thing that I will tell you is that even though it might seem like your mom is trying to be on your shoulders, she's really just thinking in the future, because my mom was like that on me in high school. And you just really have to take into consideration that, like, what if you do go to this school in Atlanta and something happens, God forbid, but you get sick or you know, you get hurt or something, your mom can't come to your rescue, come check on you the way that she would if you went to school in the Philadelphia area or somewhere in that vicinity that's 2 or 3 hours away, because Atlanta is like a whole flight, so she's not going to see you for a whole day if something happens to you. And that's just something you should take in consideration on her side. But as far as you, you should definitely always want to pursue and follow your dreams. I would just say, if you want to go to the school in Atlanta because it has the major for you, because it's you like the programs that it offers, then that's definitely a good reason to go to a school. But if you're just trying to run away from your parents, then going to school all the way in Atlanta doesn't really solve the issue. So I would just say, take into consideration maybe why you want to go to school in Atlanta. Well, just sit down with your mom, tell her why you want to go to that school if you have legitimate reasons, and I think that'll kind of lessen her worries, because if you're actually going that far to pursue your dreams, then every parent wants to see their kids succeed, so she might not have as big as a problem with it. If it just seems like you're trying to get away from her, then she's definitely going to be a little bit more hostile towards you, just because you're trying to, like, you know, get away from her. You're her baby. You're not supposed to leave. So the next question is, how do you make friends in college? Easiest way to make friends is just be yourself, be open. If you go to any school, majority of schools offer freshman orientation programs in which all the freshmen get inducted into the university maybe a week before upperclassmen get there, or it might be the week that upperclassmen are there. It just depends on the university. But during those weeks, just be really open, be true to who you are. If you like to dance, then dance. If you like to sing, then sing. Don't be closed off just because of a lot of freshmen. I mean, a lot of freshmen will be closed off during the freshman week just because they're in a new area and in a new space with people who they don't know, like in high school. So you just have to be yourself. Even though you're removed from your setting in which you're comfortable, you still have to be you. And I think those opportunities will present themselves, and people who are like you or enjoy your personality or just enjoy being around you, they'll flock to you. That's just a part of being anywhere, doing anything. Your first friends will probably be your roommates, just because those are the first people who you meet off the bat, whoever you're staying with. And then based off of organizations, classes, majors, this, that, and the other, that's how you're gonna make some of your lifelong friends as far as college. But just don't stress it too much, just be yourself. Do people date in college, or is it just casual sex? As far as I can say, I would say it's a little bit of both. Freshman, sophomore year, people are kind of doing a little bit more freaking and geeking just because they're away from home. they're away from their parents. There's nobody to tell them they can't leave the house at 2 in the morning, so they gonna do their thug thizzle. But towards like junior and senior year, people kind of mature. They're looking for longevity. They're looking for somebody who they can be with past college, who they can have conversations with, and then you'll see a little bit more dating. Of course, there's a couple of people who get locked up their freshman year and sophomore year. Of course, there's a couple of people who still freaking and geeking their senior year. So it's just a combination of both. It just depends on your personality. How do you budget in college? You budget in college the same way that you budget anywhere else, as far as like being at home or being an adult. You just have to know how much you have, conserve, and then make sure that you're being a good steward of your money. So if you have a job or like a work study on campus, then you would just take that, pay any bills that you need to pay, save at least 20%, and then spend freely. And then you know, if you don't have a job and your parents are giving you an allowance, then you pretty much do the same thing. I know me personally, I've had a phone bill since I've been in college, but I've also had a job since I've been in college, which is like my work, not like an outside job, like work study and student employment. So I just pay for my phone bill, put some money away, and then I just spend, go chill with my friends, go to Buffalo Wild Wings, whatever I want to use my own money on. Next question is, how do you get involved on campus and still get good grades? It's just about time management. It's just about properly delegating your time to the right things. Always make sure that you're getting your schoolwork done first, and then after your schoolwork is done, you can really do whatever you want to do. You always have to be or listen to your body. So if you know that you can't stay out until like 3 or 4 in the morning and still make it to your 9-10 o'clock class, then things like that will start coming into play. But that's just something that you learn as you go along in the college experience, and it's really just a growing process. So as far as managing your time, everybody manages their time differently. If you watch my channel, then you know I use my passion planner. That video went up on Monday. That's how I personally manage my time, is just keeping track of meetings, class, work, places that I need to be, this, that, and the other. And that's kind of just how I keep myself centered. Is there a lot of drinking and stuff at college parties? And if so, is it okay as a Christian young teenager to do that stuff or no? So this question was definitely like one of the hardest that I've ever gotten. Alright, let's put it like this. So first off, if you're saying in the Christian aspects of things, then no. Like, no, you shouldn't be doing anything. You shouldn't be drinking. You shouldn't be having sex. You shouldn't be smoking. Any of that, because that's just within the religion that you believe. And that's just something that you have to deal with. Now, if I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people who go to college are Christian. A lot of people who go to college have sex. A lot of people who go to college drink. A lot of people who go to college smoke. So all of those things really have to be kept in moderation. And I think that's one thing that my mom definitely instilled in me before I went to college, is everything is okay in moderation. Like, if you're gonna sin right. So if you're gonna have sex, then make sure that you're wrapping it up, making sure that you're protecting yourself, that he's using a condom, that you're on birth control, so that nothing permanent comes from temporary decisions. As far as drinking, make sure that you're around a group of people who you trust. Make sure that you're safe. Don't leave your drink around people who you don't know. Stuff like that. Simple enough. I mean, everything is in moderation. So as far as saying is it okay to do as a Christian young teen, then no, it's not okay to do. If you're asking as far as biblically speaking, no, you're not supposed to. But if you're just asking like as somebody who's going into college as a Christian, and you're just kind of in that experimental phase, then I'm just gonna say sometimes things happen, but just make sure that you're being safe when those things do occur. You're in college and you're a Christian adult. What is the appropriate amount of time to wait to have sex with the guy you're dating or talking to? So in the same aspect, as far as if you're a Christian, then you shouldn't be having sex with someone who you're dating or talking to. You should be saving that for the person that you're married to. But if you're asking the realm of a college student, when do I think that it's okay to sleep with or do that with someone who you're dating or talking to, I would just say it's about you and your maturity level. As far as it's yours, so you kind of can choose when you want to give it to. There's no set amount of time in which I can give you that's going to give you a different result than the other. If you're ready to have sex with somebody, then you're ready. If you're not, then you're not. And no amount of time is really going to change that. So whenever you feel comfortable enough to share that with someone, then make sure that you do it properly, make sure that you do it safely, but it's really just up to your own discretion. So that's kind of like the two-sided answer to that, as far as like Christian and then kind of like just being a college student myself. Next question is, how much more difficult academically is college than high school? Depends on your high school, honestly, and it also depends on your college. So for me, the transition academically to collegiate level wasn't that hard, just because I had already took AP classes since I was a freshman. I was taking like calculus and like macroeconomics and stuff when I was in high school, so the academic transition wasn't that tough for me. It was more the social transition that really weighed a heavy toll on me, I guess you could say. But it's really just about, if you have good study habits and if you make good grades in high school, but you actually like apply yourself to make your good grades, then you should be pretty good in college. But if you're one of those students who was like me, kind of, you don't really study, you don't really put in any effort, you're just naturally smart, and you don't really have to force yourself to study in order to obtain good grades, then it's going to be a little bit more tricky, because in college you will find you have to study a lot more for classes. What are some fun activities other than parties that HBCUs have to offer? I haven't been to any other HBCUs besides mine, so I can say at my school, we have cool events. Like, I mean, as far as partying, like if you're talking about like huge gatherings of people, other than that, I would say like smaller gatherings of like intimate settings of like friends. So like just going to your friend's house and kicking it, chilling. SAB throws events. Homecoming isn't really a party, it's a week, so it's like a week-long event. So your homecoming is definitely going to be a dope event, a dope place to be. Welcome back weeks, that's what we have at my school. That's on the LUOP channel. If you guys, is it on the LUOP channel? I don't think it is. But like welcome back weeks, those are cool. Speak outs are cool. Just really any event that allows you to interact with other people. That's pretty much other events that HBCUs have that are fun. Next question is, do you ever hang out off campus in your leisure time? When I was a freshman, no, because I didn't have a car, and neither of my friends had cars, so we didn't really have anywhere to go. Like our campus is in the middle of nowhere, so all of like civilization was like about 30 to like 40 minutes out of the way. So I had never really got off campus. When I got my own car, now I'm like always off campus, but I think that's just because I got my YouTube channel started, I branded myself more, I've definitely met a lot more people in the state of Oklahoma versus like just talking to Langston people. So I like kind of going to different events at different schools, or like just going to different people who to kind of build and throw ideas back and forth. So do people go on spring break trips every year in college? If you got the money, go. If not, go home. Like people don't do it every year. I would say like save up your money, go on one smooth trip. But most people go like well, some people go every year. It just depends on what your bankroll looking like. If you got the money, I would definitely say go, because spring break is an experience that, man, you can experience spring break. Like, there's no feeling like spring break done properly. So some people do, some people don't. It just depends on your money. So why did I choose to go to a HBCU? I said this in my HBCU versus PWI video. I chose to go to a HBCU just because I believe in the building of the black community. Like, I'm almost 100% sold on the fact that I truly believe deep down in my soul that black people have the means to educate and financially support themselves as a community and a culture without any other ethnicities being needed. So with that, I was raised in a home where black college was like, that was kind of my only option. Like, I had 106 options pretty much. So my mom always told me, like, I don't care where you go as long as you go to a HBCU, just because the HBCU experience is like no other. And I feel as though other universities sometimes try to culture the atmosphere that's natural at HBCUs, just the community and the family outlook of it. And I just think there's no better feeling waking up, going on the yard and just seeing a bunch of people who look like you. Like, I don't have to search for another black person. Like, they all just here. We all just here, chilling, going to class. So I just really like that idea. Plus, it's a lot different from going to an all-black high school, which I said in my video. Black high school kids are kind of weird. Like, they're kind of, depending on what type of school you go to. Like, at my school, they were like really disrespectful. None of them were really self-motivated, but being at a HBCU is completely different. Like, everybody has something going for themselves, at least that I hang around. Majority of people have something going for themselves. They're self-driven, and they're really encouraging and aspiring and inspiring. So it's just a really good atmosphere to be in, and that's personally why I chose to be at a HBCU. So the next question that I got was, how do you keep your sanity, and if you're a Christian, how hard is it to maintain your faith in college? So as far as like keeping my sanity, like, nothing's that big of a deal. I'm really a person who believes that not really it's not really about the event, it's about your reaction to the event. So whether something positive happens or something negative happens, it's about the response in which you give those events and those occurrences that really makes how calm you are, especially during the college experience, because you'll notice a lot of things don't go your way, things go differently than planned. And so with that, I just always try to keep a positive mindset and always realize that there's a bigger picture, that however you feel in this moment, you won't feel that way in future moments. Or, you know, if you feel so strongly about something right now, you probably won't feel as strongly a day or a week or a month from now. So that's one thing. And then as far as like, is it hard to maintain your faith in college? It's only as hard as you make it. That's as easily as I can phrase it. Keeping your Christianity in college is honestly as easy as you make it. If you invest and put a lot of effort into reading your Bible, into making sure that you're dedicated spiritually and biblically, then it's gonna be a lot easier for you. If you fall off, if you stop going to, me personally, I stopped going to church, I stopped reading my Bible, I stopped doing devotionals, all of that, just because I was in college. So if you start straying away from the word, if you start straying away from your spirituality, then it's gonna be a lot more difficult to keep you tied to it, because you're not putting in the effort. Say you have to learn how to study all over again once you get to college. How was that process for me? I did not have good study habits when I was in college. I did not. Before I went to college, I bought a book called How to Study, and that definitely helps me. As far as the process, it's really just taking notes and studying it's a very conscious process. And I think sometimes in high school we just sit in classes until the bell rings and we don't really pay any attention to it unless it's vital or going to be on a test. But as far as being in college, trying to get your major, trying to do things pertaining to your career field, then you have to be a lot more conscious when you're in class. It's very, very simple. We know the steps, we just don't use them. So when you're in class, pay attention, listen, print out the PowerPoint before class. If your professor uses PowerPoints for lecture, then make sure that you print them off so you can put your personal notes on top of the lecture notes. Make sure that if you need to, write in different colors. I know my notes are very, very colorful because colors is how I remind myself of certain information. And it's really just about listening, like making the conscious effort to listen and read if necessary, and just really stowing those things away in your mind and in your brain so that you can use them. Because different from high school, when you're in college, when you're enrolled in a course, professors expect for you to know the previous material that's required in order for you to enroll in the course. So for instance, in high school, if I'm taking like a bio class and then I have another bio class that I have to take, sometimes that second bio teacher might re-go over the things in bio 1, in which just to kind of refresh us before they dive into bio 2, which might take up 3 to 4 weeks. However, in college, if I take bio 1 and then next semester I enroll in bio 2, then my biology 2 professor expects for me to know all of the information that was taught in biology 1, and they will not teach you the previous course information, because if on your transcript it says that you got a B or an A or a C or whatever in your class, and they're assuming that you did well enough to retain the information that was taught in that class, and they don't really have time to go back and teach you that class as well as their class. Like, they're only concerned with teaching you the information that needs to be taught in their lecture, not in anybody else's. So it's just about making the conscious effort to learn. So the next question is it as hard as it seems to get scholarships for college? Would it depend on your income? Would it depend on your income or like the major you're interested in? How did you manage writing essays, filling out scholarships for filling out scholarships, etc. while doing your schoolwork for senior year? So as far as like the whole scholarship spiel, I did a how to apply for college and scholarships video in the previous, so I'll link that down below, and that's pretty much all I know about scholarships and all the advice that I could possibly give to you about that. But as far as managing that with having fun your senior year, I would definitely tell you it's the same thing. It's time management. It's making sure that you're on top of your college dates as well as your senior work. And so I think the best thing that I did was during the week I was always focused on like high school stuff, like assignments, projects and whatnot, and then on the weekends I used that time and dedicated that time to college essays, scholarships, college applications. And if you do that every weekend as a routine, you'll definitely notice that it's a lot easier to manage both of those. And just remember that college, to me personally, is way funner than high school. So as much as you want to be involved in your senior year, like, you're about to go into like a whole new tunnel of life that has like way more adventure, like way more opportunities and a lot more exciting things. So don't get so caught up on like, oh, I'm a senior, I want to go to every party, I want to go to every event. Like, so I mean, obviously, like, big events, winter balls, winter formals, proms, certain parties like that, but just know like things that are important versus things that aren't. Like, if you have an application that's due and you haven't started on it and it's due tomorrow and it's a party tonight, just stay and do the application. I promise whatever parties that you live through in college will be way, way, way better and exceed way, way, way more than any high school party for the most part. So the next question is kind of similar but a little different. So what's the key to staying focused in high school with all the distractions? It's just about knowing yourself and being centered in yourself without being selfish or arrogant, but it's a very good thing to be centered in yourself and what you're doing and what you have going for yourself. And I think the reason that so many girls and even guys get distracted in high school is just because they're so focused on what everybody else is doing. And that's in college too, honestly. Like, you really have to be focused on you and what you have going and what you need to accomplish and what you need to, you know, attack. And I think if you're centered in where you're going and the direction in which you're trying to put yourself, then you'll never really have to worry about the distractions of high school. And then it also goes back to what I said previously. It's about how you react to certain situations. If you react negatively to things in your life, then you're gonna get distracted easily. But if you're always positive, if you're always looking to the end of the tunnel and never really too focused on the roadblock that's in front of you, then you'll breeze through high school. And I know that's something that I struggle with, is always being worried about other people and what they were doing, instead of just being focused on myself. So just focus on yourself and that'll get you through high school with a lot less trouble. So yeah, you guys, that's the majority of the questions that I got sent. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm gonna end it right here. But if you have a question that you want answered, make sure that you send it to the link that I'll leave down below in the description bar, as well as you can hit me up on Instagram or on the Twitter, you know what I'm saying, and send me your questions and I'll answer them on the next episode of Dear High School Girls. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to add me on the Snapchat. And thank you to you guys who've added me on Snapchat and then you guys say, hey, like, don't be weird, you guys. Speak. If you're gonna follow me and watch my day-to-day life, the least y'all can do is be like, hey, I'm watching your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gotta be rude, okay? So thank you for watching this channel. Thank you. Don't forget to comment video suggestions down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But until then, I will see you guys on the next Coffee Cream Girl video. Bye guys.